You know, if you're studying for the IELTS, I bet you've heard this a million times. Use a wide range of vocabulary, use lots of synonyms. It's pretty much the #1 piece of advice out there. But what if I told you that following that advice blindly could actually be hurting your score?
So let's just get right to it and ask the big question. Is that thesaurus you've been leaning on? You know, that list of synonyms you've been memorizing? Is it actually stopping you from getting the score you really deserve? Well, the answer might just surprise you.
Welcome to the Explainer by IELTS Guide Phil on YouTube.
All right, first up, we're going to tackle one of the biggest misconceptions in the world of IELTS prep. We're calling it the Great Synonym Myth. This is the idea that if you just swap out words for fancier sounding synonyms, you're on the fast track to a high score. Let's break down exactly why that's such a risky and, frankly, a dangerous strategy.
First things first, we've got to understand what the examiners actually mean when they say lexical resource. Yes, of course, they want to see that you have a good range of vocabulary, but that's just one part of the puzzle. They're also looking for precision, using the perfect word in the perfect context. They're checking your awareness of style and collocation, which is just a fancy way of saying you know which words naturally hang out together. But most importantly, it all comes down to your ability to get your exact meaning across clearly. And this really gets to the heart of the problem. As IELTS Guide Phil often points out, true synonyms, words that are 100% interchangeable, are incredibly rare in English. Think about it. Most words have their own little flavor, their own shade of meaning, or they belong in a formal or informal situation. Ignoring these subtle differences is exactly where so many test takers get into trouble. And that leads you right into what we call the overuse trap. When you try to force a synonym into a sentence where it just doesn't fit, it sounds unnatural. It can completely twist the meaning of what you're trying to say, or it creates those collocational errors we just talked about. So instead of showing off your amazing vocabulary, what you're actually doing is sending a signal to the examiner that you don't fully grasp the words you're using. Ouch. Okay, so let's get really practical here. IELTS Guide Phil has seen candidates fall into the same 5 vocabulary traps over and over again. So let's shine a light on what they are and, more importantly, how you can sidestep them completely. Trap number 1, changing your keywords when you really don't need to. I mean, look at that incorrect example. It's a bit confusing, right? Are we talking about one problem or 2 different ones? Sometimes just repeating a key term like climate change is actually the clearest thing you can do. The better way to show variety is to use a phrase like this global phenomenon to refer back to it. That's smart.
All right, trap number 2 is all about inappropriate formality shifts. And you can see how jarring the wrong approach is here. Offspring and fiscal resources, that's super formal, almost scientific, but then it immediately jumps to kids need tons of money, which is extremely casual. That kind of shift just sounds bizarre. The key, especially in IELTS writing, is to pick a consistent tone, usually a nice, semi-formal one, and stick with it. Now, collocational errors, these are a huge red flag for examiners. Think of collocations as words that are just natural partners, like best friends. You tackle a problem or you address a challenge. You don't really tackle a difficulty. Learning these natural word pairings is so much more valuable than just memorizing lists of single words.
And here it is, the classic thesaurus trap. You look up a word for have, and it gives you possess. You look for a word for high, and it says elevated. But we don't possess a salary, do we? We earn it. And we don't have elevated salaries, we have higher salaries. The bottom line is, your thesaurus doesn't understand context, but you have to.
And the final trap? Trying to sound like a dusty old academic journal. Look at that first sentence. It's a real mouthful. Using overly complex words for simple ideas doesn't make you sound smarter. It just makes your writing hard to read. Remember this, clarity always wins over complexity. Just say what you mean, simply and effectively.
Okay, we have officially covered the traps. So let's flip this around. Now we're going to talk about the solutions. Let's build your smart vocabulary toolkit with the strategies that IELTS Guide Phil actually recommends. So here are the good habits, the do's. First off, learn words as part of a phrase, in context, not just as lonely words on a list. And focus on paraphrasing the entire idea, not just swapping out single words. Don't be afraid to repeat a key term if it makes your point clearer. And above all, please remember this. It is always better to be accurate with a simple word than to be inaccurate with a complex one. Accuracy over everything. And on the flip side, here are the bad habits you need to break, like right now. Stop mindlessly memorizing lists of synonyms. Stop feeling like you have to change every single repeated word. And if you are not 100% confident that you know what a word means and how to use it, just don't use it. Your number one goal is clear communication.
Now, this slide shows what is probably the most powerful strategy of them all. Don't just substitute words, paraphrase the entire idea. The first example sounds clunky, right? It's awkward. But the second one, it restructures the whole sentence. It uses different grammar and vocabulary to say the same thing fluently and naturally. Now, that is what a high-scoring answer looks like. Want a few more smart strategies to add to your toolkit? Here are 3 quick ones. First, show your range by using different forms of the same root word, like the noun, the adjective, and the adverb. Second, learn to move from a general term, like vehicles, to more specific examples, like cars and buses. And third, master a few useful academic phrases that add a bit of sophistication without sounding forced.
Okay, one last really important thing to remember. The IELTS isn't just one single test, right? And the expectations for your vocabulary in the writing and speaking sections are actually a little different.
Here's the deal. In your writing, the big focus is on precision and keeping that consistent, semi-formal tone. But when you walk into the speaking test, the game changes a bit. The priority shifts to fluency and using natural conversational language. Pausing for 5 seconds to search for a better word is going to hurt your fluency score way more than just repeating a word naturally would.
So if you only take one thing away from this entire explainer, please let it be this core piece of advice from IELTS Guide Phil. Your goal is authenticity over ambition. Show the examiner what you can do with the language you genuinely know rather than trying to impress them with complicated words you don't. Natural, authentic, and clear communication will always, always get you a better score.
So, if you want to dive deeper into this, make sure you read the full original blog post over at IELTSGuidePhil.com. You can also find a ton more video explainers and deep dive podcast episodes right here on the YouTube channel. And you can get amazing support by joining the conversation in the Facebook community. All of those links are waiting for you in the description below. And hey, if you're ready to really take your prep to the next level, just comment below to get all the info on IELTS Guide Phil's online masterclass. Thanks so much for watching.